Enfield bikes have been conquering the terrain of the Himalayas for a while now. Is it a cumulative result of all the bikes going there and coming back, or has it been thought out and solely developed for the Himalayas?
Yeah, Enfield has been in the Himalayas since 1955 when we first came to India, when the army took the bullet to the Himalayas. And since then, and especially for the last few decades, the Royal Enfield has been the definitive motorcycle for adventurers in the Himalayas. So that's been our inspiration behind this motorcycle. We said, let's do a new motorcycle, absolutely ground up, which embodies what our feeling towards the Himalayas is, which is to make a motorcycle that's purposeful, that does the job of traversing the Himalayas in a very, very, very good manner. So if you look at it from top to bottom, from front to back, this motorcycle with its suspension, with the travel, with the big wheels, with the monoshock here, and of course the low-end torque of the engine, it embodies what we feel would make an adventure touring motorcycle in the Himalayas. But it's also there to make sure that it's easy to ride on an everyday basis. So if you're using it in the city, it should be easy to ride. That's what the Himalayan is all about.
Do you think that it's just going to be popular for those who want to tour the Himalayas, or do you feel that even for people who are not really aiming to go out there, this vehicle would be popular amongst those people who don't really head out to the hills as well?
Well, the Himalayas is obviously our inspiration. That's what draws. I mean, it's these beautiful landscapes that draw our interest, and it's the most difficult landscape as well in the country. But really, this motorcycle is great for any adventure, because anywhere you go in India, by and large, you're going to find, some decent roads, some bad roads, some off-road conditions. That's generally how it happens if you're going out. In fact, even in cities, sometimes you find a bit of that sort of environment. So the motorcycle has been made so that it's actually easy to ride on an everyday basis as well. It's not an extreme motorcycle. The torque is low end. It's not a very fussy motorcycle. It's very forgiving. It's very light in its steering, for example. So it's easy to maneuver, all of that. So it's been designed so that you can ride it easily every day. But even if you're going for a little weekend ride, or if you're going for a long distance ride, or if you're going for a pan-India ride, it should be able to do all those jobs with equal ease. We've got a lot of luggage options you don't see on this motorcycle. We've got luggage panniers here, we've got some facility for luggage here, and for the first time on any motorcycle really, we've got a luggage option right up front here as well, so that you can put jerry cans, all of that. So it is, in our opinion, an accomplished adventure rider, but can also do your daily job really well.
So what kind of a response have you been getting from consumers or people who are prospective buyers and are interested in buying this product?
Yeah, so of course, till now, none of them have got their hands on it. So it's more the idea of the Himalayan which is interesting to people, and more interesting than I'd have thought from the start. People are interested in it, people are excited about it, people are curious about various aspects of it. A lot of you are here today are going to help them in sort of at least getting that first idea of what the whereabouts of this motorcycle will be. What we're encouraging people a lot is, don't come and put a deposit for this motorcycle. Please come and test it, ride it for a bit. We're going to try and have tracks in as many cities as we can where you can go out and do a bit of off-roading. We want people to understand the motorcycle before they actually buy it, right? So that's the idea. And hopefully, people will warm up to the idea of adventure. It's the idea of adventuring which is important to us. But anecdotally, when you're talking about the widespread nature of this, it was in January when I was traveling from Goa to Bangalore via Hampi. In a small town in Karnataka, it's a village, not even a small town, in a village in Karnataka, a kid means 18-year-old chap, came up to me and he said, "Sir, this Himalayan." And I'm like, oh my God, this was all covered, right? He couldn't see that. All of it was covered. There was no branding on it. Chap, I'm sitting and having a coconut water on the side of the road. So he knows it. So my point is that it is sort of already permeated down into smaller towns and other places. People are adventure-minded, are already seeking it out. And that's interesting for us.
So this is a very refined machine compared to, the previous Enfields that we've seen, which we can say are largely raw and rugged. So is this a definite direction we're looking at? And there are a lot of talks about a 750cc engine as well. So is this a definite direction? We see that there are sleeker bikes, sleeker looking and sleeker riding bikes from Enfield now.
Well, I personally wouldn't call it sleek. I wouldn't go to that extent. I'd say it's chunky enough and it's purposeful in its look and nature. Where you get that refinement from, really, which you're talking about, which I believe is there, is really from how we've constructed the engine. So we've got an overhead cam on the engine, which helps a lot in various ways. We've got a counterbalancer, which takes off most of the primary unbalanced forces. So you've got obviously a pretty refined engine, so you can go hours and hours, with very low vibration, and therefore it aids the long distance nature of what we're trying to accomplish. So yes, it is to that extent a much more refined vehicle and motorcycle, and certainly that's in a part the direction, because consumers want something which is, which keeps stepping up the pace, and we're going to keep moving forward.
Just one more question, sir. Accessories, I see your company moving in this direction in a big way. From riding gear to accessories, especially on this motorcycle, how has this business been doing, and how do you see it picking up in the near future?
Yeah, so for us, motorcycling is, of course, about the motorcycle, but it's about everything around the motorcycle as well. So, unless you're in gear, for example, like the ones that you're wearing, that's a collaboration with Revit, but we have our own one as well, which is a protective gear. Unless you feel protected and confident as a rider, unless you've got a helmet, you've got boots and gloves, which give you that assurance that, if anything happens, you're relatively safe. That's a part of a more enjoyable ride, in our opinion. If you have, so for example, on the Himalayan, from day one, it was set up to have panniers, hard ones and soft ones, because some people might want soft ones. It's got luggage in the back, luggage in front. So the entire idea was that it shouldn't be a jugaad. It shouldn't be like, people trying to figure out something and rope something on it. That's not the idea. The idea is to make it fixed, to make it engineered, to make it robust, to make it work, right? So you don't need to think about it. You go, you plug the subframe on, you put in the panniers, and you can ride. So for us, it's in order to serve our customers, to give them a better ride, and honestly to give all of this at price points which are still accessible to people and not like crazily out of whack for a rider. I mean, if you look at adventure motorcycles, they're European or something, they're of a totally different nature, and that's not what I believe most of the Indian people are looking for. But also the accessibility factor, right? So if you look at this, we've just got this on the side stand. It's not a very high machine, even though it's got all the suspension travel in the front and the back. It's got huge wheels. It's not a very high machine. Indians are not very tall people, and they don't want an intimidating machine which they're going to be on tiptoes trying to get. You're going to fall down and you're not going to be able to pick up the motorcycle, and you're going to feel awkward. We made sure that people actually feel comfortable on this motorcycle in every way.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks a lot.